consistently attract soulmate clients, begin showing up on brand, monetizing on your calling. Welcome all spiritual coaches, leaders, healers, light workers, and practitioners to a show that turns you on in your business and amplifies your magnetism. I'm host, catalyst, and spiritual business coach Jocelyn Fung, and I'm here to journey with you into the juicy and help you discover where the real gaps are. Ignite your mindset and soul with strategies and systems as each episode takes you to the sweet spot that activates your soulgasmic business. Enjoy this light language activation as we begin to magnetize and monetize. Hello, my loves. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so honored to have you choose to listen to this show. As always, I encourage you, if you do enjoy this episode, please do shout it out on social media so more people can tune in as well and receive the ripple effects. On Instagram, it's Bold Sexy Warrior, and on Facebook, it's Jocelyn Fun Coaching Bold Sexy Warrior. And for those of you desiring to know the big picture of how I walk my clients through my signature method, which I call Fun, Bold, and Sexy, to magnetize your soulmate clients and monetize on your calling, I have a free mini video series to share with you where I bring in mindsets and strategies and soul into this that I personally walk my clients through. And I would love for you to learn about this method and receive the wisdom from what I share in this mini video series. So you can go to funboldsexy.com/video-course. All right, my loves, I am so excited about my guest today and this episode. Have you ever heard of emotion code, body code, and psyche? Well, if you don't know what this is, and you may have heard of it, you may not have, listen up. Okay, so it is, I'm going to say, very fascinating as a method. I am personally a client of our special guest today, and these methods really help you shift unconscious, and I'm talking unconscious, like I didn't even know I had these core beliefs until I was working with Jocelyn, our guest today. And also there's something called a heart wall, and Jocelyn is going to share more about what this is. She's very passionate about it, and we all have a heart wall. So what is it, and what are the benefits of clearing it? How can it really help us as leaders, as light workers, as healers, as coaches, as souls having a human being experience really benefit from clearing our heart wall? So my special guest, my soul sister, my very own energy therapist, Jocelyn Pettitt, is here today. She enjoys empowering clients with taking their emotional healing into their own hands. Jocelyn is certified in emotion code and body code, as well as psyche. Her sessions have helped hundreds of clients move past their own blockages and limiting beliefs. I am a walking testimonial. She is passionate about sharing this world-renowned healing modality with audiences through workshops and public speaking events. Jocelyn is instructor at the Banff Wellness Retreat, sharing what she has learned about muscle testing, which also is another very fascinating thing I'm sure we will get into today, and communicating with the subconscious mind with her audiences yearly. She believes in the innate power we all have to heal ourselves, which I absolutely share with her, and loves teaching and guiding her clients on their own emotional healing journey. Jocelyn is a published co-author of the international best-selling book Heal 2.0, You Have the Power, and her client reach is local and international as she enjoys working with clients from every continent in the world. Her business Edson Emotion Reset was recently nominated for the Quality Care Award 2020, and I am not surprised by that. So, my love, hello, welcome to our show here.
Thank you, Roz. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. It's a pleasure to be on.
Oh my God, I know that we're gonna have so much wisdom drops in and beautiful energy drops into this episode. So, I'd love for you to share how you got to be who you are today and do what you do.
Thank you. Well, when you look back, when I look back on my life and I think of all the things that I went through, and I think this is the same for a lot of people when you get to a certain point in your life, and you look back and you think, wow, that had to happen so I could be here today. That is exactly how my journey played out. I had a lot of different winding paths, a lot of different jobs and careers. However, all of them somehow led me to this path. And of course, I endured my own emotional suffering to some degree because I had to in order to discover this modality and in order to discover the power of healing our emotions and our trapped emotions in our body and helping other people now, which is what I do today. So yeah, it's been a wild journey, but every single job that I've had and every person that I've interacted with, all have had some role leading me here.
I love that perspective because I also take the same perspective. And speaking of, every person we interact with, I mean, you and I met at an event that you were a vendor at and I was speaking at. So it's just, I always share about how connections are the most important and that relationships really are currency in every single form and abundance
Correct.
that it brings
Yes.
is so beautiful. And here we are today. You've been
Yeah.
changing my life. and it's been a whirlwind. Those of you who follow me on social media know that I'll be moving to Kelowna. Oh my gosh, in like a few weeks, which I'm very excited about. But my inner child was not so excited. So I was working with Jocelyn as her client to really shift some of these limiting beliefs. But I'd love for you to continue your story and
Yes.
just really what supported you to wake you up to this beautiful method.
Sure. Yes. I was actually in library school at the time. I was working as a librarian, a school librarian, and taking some courses at night. And I came across this documentary as part of a project called E-Motion, and it's actually E-Motion. And that documentary was what first opened my eyes to energy healing, energy world, and the emotion code. And so after watching that documentary, I became very inspired, and I thought as a test, I was going to start changing my thoughts and see what happened and just pay attention to the world around me. And I did. I started shifting my thinking completely, not changing my actions, just my thoughts. And that week that followed, some amazing things happened. In my life, I got a free trip to Europe. My relationship with my husband got better. There were so many things that were happening just by changing my thoughts. So I was very excited to learn more and found an emotion code practitioner, which actually lived in my town, a small town of 8,500 people. So I walked into my
Wow.
first session and I said, I'm here. I'm so happy. And I have no problems. I just want to experience this. That was my session. And I walked in and she started to pull out the emotions that were trapped in my body, a lot of them being from my marriage. And tears just started to fall down my face. And I realized, wow, there's no way that she would know this. And I had no idea I was carrying this. And so I was just mind blown and right away took my kids in for sessions. I thought, well, I don't want them carrying around trapped emotional energy. And so we all went in for sessions. And that was the beginning of my journey. And probably a year later, I realized that I didn't know where I was going, but I always asked the question, what is next for me? What is next? This can't be it, And so I had written a journal entry saying, I know I have untapped potential, but I'm not sure what it is. I'm going to discover it. And a few weeks later, I decided to enroll in the emotion code training so that I could learn how to do this for my family, learn how to do this for myself, and never imagined I would be doing it full time as a job. So that is basically how I entered in on this. And COVID had hit last year, and my business never slowed down. And I realized, there is a possibility that I can do this. I can do what I love and succeed. And that is what has happened. It's just continued to grow from there.
Wow, so powerful. And so can you tell us exactly how would you define emotion code and body code as well as psyche? Because they are two different methods that you have decided to bring together. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Yes. The emotion code and body code modalities were created by Dr. Bradley Nelson. He was a chiropractor who used to pray before his sessions and ask higher power how he could help his clients heal. And he was using a method called kinesiology, muscle testing, to determine what trapped emotional energies were trapped on people's bodies. And that was the creation of the emotion code. So it's basically a chart of 60 emotions, and you use muscle testing to determine what trapped emotional energies are on people's energetic systems. Now, you might think, okay, well, how does that work? What is muscle testing? Muscle testing is listening to the body's response. So this is how lie detectors work. Lie detectors don't listen to what words are coming out of your mouth, which is your conscious mind. Lie detectors work by tapping into your body's physiological response. And that is what muscle testing does as well. So we can muscle test on a client, whether in person or distant, and determine, okay, you have a trapped emotion of failure trapped on your jaw, and that is why you have this clicking jaw. Or, you have a trapped emotion of anxiety and depression on your left shoulder, and that is what is causing you left shoulder pain. So we can actually hone in and laser in and discover what energies have been trapped on this system and release them. And it is amazing what different results we get from clients, but majority of the time there is pain reduction or complete elimination of the ailment. So that was the emotion code. And the body code system goes further. It goes much deeper. So other than just finding trapped emotions, we use muscle testing to determine, okay, what kind of energy do you have on your body? Is it an emotion, or is it an allergy or an intolerance, or is it a mental energy? Because not only can you have emotional energies, but you can have trapped emotional energy statements on your body as well. For example, I'm not good enough. That could be trapped anywhere on your body. Or I've worked with clients who have liver issues, and we discovered a statement, no will to heal, on the liver. And so the body code goes much further, determining misalignments, allergies, intolerances, digestive system, reproductive system, you name it, it can go into it, skeletal system, muscular system, and we really just laser in and ask the body what needs to be released. And I
want to interject here, because you guys seriously, I'm on Zoom with Jocelyn and she's screen sharing, and this is not just pulled from what we would see out of nowhere. This is literally based on science. You have charts, and I literally saw the charts, and you'd muscle test, and then you go into what, because you're tapped into me, your client, and during the session, and then you're going into the different, I'm visually seeing the charts, and the musculatory system, the digestive system, the skeletal, different areas, and I'm just my nerd brain, which loves science, is just so fascinated by this. And you were able to pinpoint aspects of what was happening in my body that I wouldn't otherwise have known through this.
And sometimes the client does know, but yes, and sometimes they don't. Yesterday I was working with a client, and I said, okay, your subscapularis muscle is unhappy. And he says, yes, it is my subscapularis. And I said, oh, you know where that is? And he said, yes, I was going to go into this in university. And he knows the muscular system. And so it's so interesting when they know right on their body what I'm talking about, and it wasn't something that they had told me, or, you know, the muscle or the body code can identify which tooth in your mouth has a dental toxicity. And I know that sounds incredibly out there considering we're not using x-rays, but we are tapped into something much more brilliant, which is the subconscious mind, which knows absolutely everything about your body.
I haven't told you this, but I actually have a family member, like on my husband's side, who I need to refer to you because he's been having tons of digestive issues, and no one can figure out why. So it's been diagnosed as IBS, but my sense is that's not what it is because it's been over a year, and he's been working with a nutritionist, and it hasn't really improved. So speak to that when things aren't figure outable.
Yes, and that's usually when I do hear from clients. So if they've never heard of the emotion code and they've been going to doctors and having all these tests and they just getting this kind of general blanket diagnosis, you know, okay, this is fibromyalgia or this is due to stress. That's usually where somehow they find me and they understand at a deep down level, there must be more that is not being figured out here. So let's pay attention to the symptoms of the body because the body is communicating with you that something is wrong, number one. And then somehow they find me. And I tell them, you know, we have nothing to lose but by trying. We have nothing to lose by trying a session. And let's just see what comes up for you. And so obviously I am not a doctor and I cannot treat, diagnose, or cure. However, what I can do is ask your subconscious mind what energy imbalances are trapped in that particular area or are causing a certain symptom, and I can release those energies, and then we can let your body do its thing and heal itself. So with the digestive system, you know, I would be going into the stomach sphincter. I would be looking into the esophagus, and muscle testing, is the esophagus happy? You know, is the stomach sphincter happy? Is the colon happy? The liver, the tongue, and be checking all of these areas to determine, okay, how is the digestive system running and all the components in that system, are they happy or not? And that is the in-depth work of the body code.
I love it. I love it. And the thing that blows my mind is that all of this can be done through energy and just over Zoom or on the phone, right? We've had sessions both ways. And it doesn't require any physical touching. And yet I can feel all the energy work that you do on me. So it's pretty amazing. It's so much like, not the same, but when I do Akashic record readings with my clients, just how they feel the energy and the clearings when I'm delivering the methods for that. So it's pretty powerful.
Yes,
so
energy doesn't recognize distance or time. So
that's right. That's right. Or distance. I love it. I love it. So we're going to go into commercial. And when we come back, let's dive into what Psyche is, because that is next level as well.
You bet.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Life is a flow, and enlightenment is simply harmonizing with the way life really is. Then you find that life is effortless, benevolent, and free of all suffering. Hey everyone, this is GP Walsh, and I want to invite you to my brand new radio show that's launching right here on OMTimes Radio called The Flow of Enlightenment. I've been a spiritual teacher for decades, and my greatest pleasure is being able to share with you these deep and highly practical spiritual ideas. So join me in The Flow every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern and let yourself be transformed.
My loves, you know you're here as a soul-led leader to transform this world through the sharing of your passions and gifts. You are here to be in your warrior of light and align your business with your highest self. I'm Jocelyn Fung of the show Activate Your Soulgasmic Business. Let's elevate your business to the next expansive level. I invite you to flow into a business soul alignment discovery call with me at rosalynfung.com. That's ROSALYN, fun as in have some fun, FUNG, and let's see how I can best hold space for you to align your highest self, magnetize your dream clients, and monetize on your soul mission. I can't wait to connect.
COVID-19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
Do you feel like your emotions are all over the place? That's normal during this abnormal time. There are a number of ways to cope. Maintain a healthy routine, get enough sleep, eat nutritious food, and exercise at least 30 minutes each day. Schedule some time to talk with a friend or family member. And remember, you can always take a few deep breaths to feel more centered.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
Okay, welcome back, loves. So, Jocelyn, please tell us about Psyche, and then I'm going to share with you all my experience of Psyche. It just blows my mind.
I would love to. Psyche is one of my favorite things to do. I do it every day in my business with clients. So Psyche was developed by Rob Williams, and it is a modality that also uses muscle testing to determine where in the subconscious mind we have limiting beliefs. So just as you can ask the subconscious mind where you might have trapped emotional energies or other energies on your body system, you can also ask the subconscious mind yes or no questions with regards to certain belief statements. And really, it is our beliefs that create everything in our life and are the direction of where we go. So they think that, like 95% of what happens in our reality is created by the subconscious mind and our belief system and what we expect it for ourselves. And the 5% of the conscious mind, which we use to talk and to make decisions, are basically, the smaller portion. So our belief system is everything. And I realize with clients that healing, the body and with emotion code and body code and clearing that energy out was just one aspect. However, if they wanted to see massive life changes and shifts in their future, that they needed to change their beliefs around certain things, their beliefs around love, their beliefs around self-worth and value, and their beliefs around money. And so it was really Psyche that propelled me in my business, and I believe totally helped me as I got over my own limiting beliefs and what was achievable for myself. And now I help clients do the same. So Psyche is basically overcoming limiting beliefs and programming your subconscious mind to believe what you want it to believe so that you're living a life by design, not default.
I really love that. You're living a life by design, not default. Yes, 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 yes. And in this, I learned through you that there are 13 core beliefs, and each of these beliefs have a positive and then an equal negative.
Yes. And the core beliefs, a lot of different modalities talk about the core beliefs, and the core beliefs was really, it's in advanced Psyche, and it is something that I think everybody, if they have the opportunity to do it once in their lifetime, should do it, because it only needs to be done once in your lifetime. The core beliefs are developed between 0 and 8 years old. And you as a psychologist, you know this, and you know everything about core beliefs. And basically, it's developed through our senses. We learn about how the world works through our experiences, through what we see, through what we hear, what we feel, touch, smell. This is how our subconscious mind is recording and making our blueprints. Okay, this is what this is. This is what this is. This is what we think about this. And those are things we really don't have too much control over because your core beliefs are developed at such a young age. You're just learning how the world works. through your environment. And what happens is that those core beliefs that are developed sometimes will just play this huge factor and hindrance into what you're trying to achieve. So with my clients, for example, if I'm working with them during a session, let's say we're doing Psych K, and then I'm noticing that they're just having so much struggle and difficulty, and I will tell them, okay, this is what I want you to do. Let's muscle test these two words, I can. And, they might fall weak, and then I'll muscle test with them, I can't, and they're strong. Their subconscious mind is stronger in the negative, I can't, than it is in the positive, I can. And you can see where that will be a problem for them in almost everything that they do in their life if their belief system says that they can't, if that is stronger and overpowering than the words that they can. So that is an example of a core belief that I work on. And there are 13 main ones that we test. And once we discover where there's a reversal or where there's a weak, where it should be strong, that's when we do some changing to make sure that those core beliefs are in alignment with what you want, that you're stronger in the positive than you are in the negative.
And we're going to actually dive into an example where I was actually really shocked that one of my core beliefs was testing strong in the positive and the negative. But before we move into that example, I really want you, audience, to really picture this. So Jocelyn is muscle testing, and she has her own way to do that. I think you do it with your fingers, right?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, because I can't quite see what you're doing when we're on video because your hands are lower, but
Right.
I can get a sense you're muscle testing. And then she also teaches me how to muscle test myself. So for me, I'm standing up, and then I'm saying, subconscious mind, show me yes. And then my body will move a certain way. So every time it's different. So let's say sometimes it falls forward as a yes. And then I'll say, subconscious mind, show me no. And then my body will, for example, move backwards. And so what Jocelyn does is she doesn't tell me what she's testing. I will just test myself, and she'll also test. Sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't. And then the test is, we usually get the same results. So it's really fascinating that way.
Yes.
Yes. Could you give us, we won't go through all 13 core beliefs. I think that's when people can, get in and dive in deeper with you. But can we talk about maybe a few, like 2 or 3 of the core beliefs? And let's talk about the one that shocks me. I don't know if you remember that, so I'll bring it up.
Okay, go ahead.
But what are some of the common ones you see that people struggle with? We'll talk about the positive and then the negative version of it.
Yes. So I can and I can't is basically one of the more common ones. I love to test that even in a normal Psych K session just to see where they're at with that. The universe is a friendly place, that belief system that the universe is a friendly place or that the universe is an unfriendly place. And you're correct in that, I do ask my clients when we work on Zoom, because 99% of my clientele are distance around the world. So I will muscle test before, and then I will have them stand up and do something called a sway test so that I can show them what their body is doing, so that they're not only taking my word for it, but I'll say, okay, but you're testing weak on this. I'm going to show you, stand up, and I want you to listen to your body, say the statement, and see what happens. So that is basically how I'm working when I do it with a Zoom client, is I'll pre-test everything and then have them confirm it so that they can actually listen to their body and not just say, okay, this is what she's saying, so that's what it is. I want you to see the difference before and after. So yes, the universe is a friendly place is a big one. If you don't have that belief that it is a friendly place, then you're going to be going through life guarded and sheltered and, just having this belief that everybody's out to attack you. So the universe is a friendly place is one of them. I know who
Let's talk about the one that was shocking for me. And please forgive me if I'm not stating it correctly, but I think it was, I want to live. Is that correct?
Yes. We test, I want to live and I want to die. Yes.
And so the thing that was shocking was, okay, it's not shocking that I want to live. Like, I think that's an obvious. I'm too passionate about life to want to die. But I also tested strong for I want to die.
Yeah.
So that shocks my conscious mind. And so can
Yeah.
you explain
Yeah.
what that meant when both were tested positive? Because I mean,
Yes,
really,
both
or
tested
strong, I
strong.
mean.
So yeah, so you can have, and this is why we do the core belief session, is to figure out, are you stronger in the negative than the positive? Because that would be a reversal, right? But we also test because are you weak on the positive and weak on the negative, or strong on the positive and strong on the negative? Because you see where that would kind of negate each other. And when you're strong in I want to live, I want to die, it's not something that you are consciously choosing. Obviously, consciously, you love life and you're enjoying life, and of course you want to live. But somewhere in the core belief system, sometime between 0 and 8, there was this feeling, and there was this belief that was created, I want to die. And it's not something that we choose. It's just something that is formed at the subconscious level. So when we discover this using the core belief system, that is where we say, okay, well, let's do some energy focusing and change that so that you are stronger on I want to live and I want to die test week, because that is the way it should be testing. So that was a shocker, but that's when I love for my clients to stand up like you and say, but Roz, let's muscle test it and let your body show you.
Yeah.
And
I was like, what? I was like, all right.
Yes, the whole reason we even did a core belief session was because of your move to Kelowna, and we were in a normal session, and we were trying to balance out the statements that you welcome changes in your life, and that is a core belief. And we could not do it because you were stronger in the negative. I want things to stay the way they are. And that's when I realized, oh, this is a core belief that we need to flip.
Yes. Stubborn little inner child Roz, for sure. Yeah, it was just fascinating because, consciously I'm excited to move to Kelowna, but I knew also deep inside I'm like grieving and I'm having a hard time. I'm resisting it. And honestly, it's in the big scheme of things, it's not like I'm moving to a different country where I don't know the language, or across the country even. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And like, I can say that logically, but I can feel almost like the devastation for inner child Roz for this. And it's been really, really such a journey this past year to consciously choose to work on this. When it was my husband's idea to move to Kelowna, and I was consciously, higher self is very excited and knew that this was going to be new next level and activations and all that, being closer to mountain and water. But yeah, all the stuff that came up around it was.
So you can see
really,
for
really
anybody,
tough.
Roz, where that would be an issue. If you want to see massive shifts in your life, but if you have this stronger belief, I want things to stay the way they are, then that's why it is a core belief, because that's why people remain stuck, right? And that's why they're not moving forward, is because they have in their core belief system, I want things to stay the way they are, and welcoming changes in their life is weaker than that statement. So that is why the core belief session is so incredibly important. And again, only has to be done once in your lifetime just to correct those. And moving forward, you can use just normal Psych K balances to start. Now let's program the things that you want to achieve, right? So the core beliefs are already set statements, and then Psych K can be used to program the goal statements that you have, the personal goal statements that you have for yourself, or beliefs around money. I am worthy of having all the money I deserve and more, or I can make all the money doing a job I love, all the money I need and more doing a job I love. So these are certain statements that I program with clients to make sure that their subconscious mind is on board with what it is that they're trying to achieve.
Yes, it's so powerful. And in shifting that, I'm happy to say, because it was only a few sessions really, I'm happy to say, and I think it's because I also have a really, really strong core foundation in having done all this personal development work. We all know it's my obsession. And that this really was just such a beautiful way to get to some of those leftovers that are really, really buried deep that I wasn't even conscious about. And so I'm happy to say I welcome changes with love and joy and excitement into my life, particularly. Like, I have no problem when it comes to stretching myself personally outside my comfort zone and professionally, but like moving means leaving my family in little Roz's mind, and leaving my good group of core friends here. I'm gonna feel like I know I'm gonna miss just being able to be like having those impromptu get-togethers last minute, like, hey, what you doing? Let's get together. Let's go for a walk.
Right.
And I know that I'll be able to find friends. It's not about that. And I've already developed friendships in my new home where I will be. But so it's not about that. There's something about relationships I currently have that are really, really special to me that I'm going to miss that quality time, because that's one of my love languages. So yeah, it's been really powerful. And just like, Jocelyn, thank you so much. Like, you really have changed so much in my life, that just those aspects of really moving into this place of welcoming changes. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, it's been my
Thank
pleasure,
you.
Roz. And I think, no matter how much work we do on ourselves, there's always room for growth and improvement. And I think
1,000%.
even for myself, right? I'm always working. Every week I check and I ask my subconscious mind, what do I need? Where am I weak? And I look at thousands of affirmations, and I muscle test. And even this last weekend, what came up for me was, I am at the perfect age to create the life I want. And I just thought, wow, that's so beautiful. And I muscle tested week in that. So of course I did a Psych-K balance to make sure I was 100% aligned with that statement. But I share it, and I get inspired, and I share on my social media, hey guys, we are all at the perfect age to create the life, the ideal life that we want. It's just making that choice. And so really all of us, doesn't matter how many hundreds or thousands of affirmations we focus on, there's always more. There's always more that you can give, more breadcrumbs you can give for your subconscious mind to work towards, to achieving for you. And that's the beautiful thing, is that when you've programmed it at a subconscious level, your subconscious mind is now scanning the universe, thinking, how am I going to make this happen for you? How am I going to, make this result that you programmed happen? Because that's what happens. It's like a computer. It will do its thing. And it happens all the time. I programmed the statement, I always have more money coming in than going out. And I see it every time I spend money. I think I had booked my daughter in for another session last week. It was $100. And right away had somebody book, and it was $105. So this is the beautiful thing, is when you program these affirmations, now your subconscious mind is scanning the universe saying, how are we going to make this happen and be a true thing for you?
I love it. So we're going to go into commercial, and when we come back, we're going to jam about what the heart wall is and the benefits of clearing it.
Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organisation, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine and tune in for inspired conversations with publisher Linda Joy on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Linda creates sacred space for leading female luminaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. A soulful venue where guests openly share the fears and obstacles they've overcome, wisdom and lessons learned, and the personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired conversations to empower you on your path to authentic, soulful living.
If I could be you,
and you could be me,
for just 1 hour.
If you could find a way
to get inside
each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Hello, welcome back. Okay, Jocelyn, let's talk about one of your favorite things to talk about, which is the heart wall. This also surprised me. So I'll get you to talk about it.
Heart wall. Okay, yes, the heart wall is actually in the emotion co-modality. It is one of my favorite things to do with clients because they don't even know that they're walking around the world, their life, with this big blockage barrier in front of them. So just as we had discussed that emotions can get trapped on the energy body and your energy system and affect certain things, cause ailments, cause headaches, you can also create something called the heart wall. And the heart wall is developed when you go through life and you experience an intense emotional situation. Your heart feels like it needs protection. And the only thing it can do is take the energy from the emotion that you're feeling, let's say it's anxiety, and it puts it right here in front of your heart. Let's say about, a few centimeters away from your heart. And then you go through the next thing in your life and you feel, let's say, low self-esteem. And you've got this energy ball of low self-esteem and your heart feels like it needs protection again. And it takes that ball, puts it on top of the last one. And you end up building this wall. So if you've met somebody in your life that feels very cold and, some people will say that person has a wall up, subconsciously, we know they have an energy wall up, and it can vary for different people. It can be in the hundreds, it can be in the 90s, but it's just usually on average, you build up this wall. It's like 60 feet, 90 feet, 120 feet, 140 feet high. And it's built up of your past experiences, your past emotional hurt. And what happens is it becomes a blockage in front of you. So you're walking around with this wall. It's a huge blockage for love. It's a blockage for success. It's a blockage for creativity because this wall blocks you from feeling life the way you should be feeling it. So those lovely energies that are supposed to be coming into your heart core are not really making it the way they should be because of this wall, and vice versa. When you send out a beautiful emotion of love into the world, or you're trying to attract and magnetize something, if you have this wall in front of you, the energy and strength behind that emotion and energy is weakened by the wall of low vibrational energy. So the heart wall, and by clearing it little by little, I usually do about 30 feet a session, which is 6 to 8 emotions. I clear it little by little, and the clients will start to begin to feel now, oh, this is life with a little bit less protection. This is life. And they start to feel things more. And what they notice is that people will feel more comfortable coming into their energy space, more comfortable talking to them, more comfortable. If they're single, they all of a sudden meet somebody. Or if they've been dating somebody, all of a sudden they get that proposal. So clearing the heart wall has been amazing and life-changing, not only for myself, but for so many of my clients. It is the number one thing that I work on, the first thing in a session.
Yes, that is so true. And it was so neat when you explained that to me, and that you only work by taking down 30% at a time per session, because if you were to take it all down, it would leave the person feeling too vulnerable.
Right. Yes, it might be too much. It really just depends on how high that wall is. So it's usually around 30 feet I take off in a session, sometimes a little over. And if they're sitting at 90 feet or 120 feet, I have to tell them, this might take 3 or 4 sessions. And I want you to process this little by little so that I'm not putting you out in the world naked when you're so used to having an armor of protection. And that's kind of how I explain it. Like, your heart's been in a bunker for a while, so let's expose you little by little. And they start to feel things at a more intense level. But that is the way we're meant to feel things before we become jaded by our past experiences.
Oh, it's such a beautiful experience. Like, I literally energetically can feel the shifts, the subtle internal shifts as you're working on bringing my heart wall down. And that was something else that blew my mind, because I do see myself as someone who very much leads with their heart and is very heart wide open. As just people are coming in and my life is beautiful. And I'm just trying to speak into the experience. So when you shared that my heart wall was actually, I think it was like 90 feet high. If I remember correctly, it was actually quite high. And I was like, oh, and it's not too, like, love how, Jocelyn, you're like me. We're always like, we're not here to judge it. The ego will judge it. And this is just what it is, because it comes from past energies and past experiences that build up. And that makes sense. I've never had my heart wall, didn't even know existed until I worked with you, cleared. So, it's been so cool to have this experience and just have it blown even more wide open so beautifully. So thank you.
And that's the thing. You can still be a powerful manifester and be in love and still have a heart wall. It's not that it's going to completely shut you down from life. No, you can live life and continue to be successful, but by clearing it, you can live life at a different level as well. And I think that's what it is. It's just, wherever you're at, if you have these past emotional energies that are somehow blocking you from living life completely fully, because it's a protection barrier that existed for a reason at a certain time in your life, let's let it go, so that there is nothing in front of your heart blocking you from anything. And it's a beautiful thing. Some people, children sometimes have heart walls of 30 feet, and that's okay. It's really what experiences we've gone through. It's taken a lifetime to build it up, and it only takes 2 or 3 sessions usually to tear it down.
Ooh, speaking of children, I also had my older son, who is 9, work with Jocelyn. And you do it by proxies. So my child doesn't even know that he doesn't consciously know he was being worked on. And he was experiencing some anxiety, and it came out as tics. So after Jocelyn did, I think you work on him for about 30, 45 minutes, right?
Yeah.
I noticed shortly after that they haven't completely dissipated, but there was a significant decrease in his tics. So that's been really, really powerful to witness that correlation.
Yes, I love working with children because they don't really know what is happening, and the parents can just observe. So whether it's nightmares or it's, bedwetting, certain things like that, it's amazing to see what shifts for them. And they didn't even know that a session was done. And so I just have the parents, observe the child during session and just make sure, they're drinking lots of water, but you'll get to just kind of see what happens there.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, do you ask the child's soul for permission first, or how does that work?
So when it's a child that's under 18, I just have permission from the parent. And then anybody who's an adult or over 18, I have to get their permission to do emotion code body work. And with Psych-K, you ask the higher self.
Okay.
So we want to make sure with Psych-K and any programming that it's for your highest good, because you're actually changing things in beliefs. So you want to make sure that every time I do a Psych-K balance, I'm always asking higher power, higher self as a person, do we have permission to program this statement? Because it really can change your life. So we want to make sure it's for your highest good.
Beautiful. I always love the permission piece. So on all levels. So how can people get a hold of you? How can they connect with you? We're going to get you to share that before we go into our meditation.
Yes. So I have a website, edsonemotionreset.com. It's from the small town that I live in, Edson, Edson. As well, you can find me on Facebook, Edson Emotion Reset, as well as on Instagram at Edson Emotion Reset. And sometimes if you just want to just shoot me an email and want to have a chat before, it's edsonemotionreset@gmail.com.
Easy, easy, easy. No one can forget about that.
Yes.
Very consistent. I love it.
Edson Emotion Reset.
So I love it. You and I were just tuning in during commercial. We're trying to feel into what we can focus this meditation activation on and the theme. And I'm curious if there's something that's coming through for you right now.
Yes, there's a beautiful affirmation by an author, Florence Shinn. She's from the 1800s, and she wrote some powerful books, Your Word is Your Wand and The Game of Life. And so I do use some of her affirmations in my Psych K programming. And what I'm muscle testing that we could all benefit from is the affirmation, I bring into manifestation the divine design of my life, health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression.
Beautiful. So what we're going to do is I'm going to support our listeners to just get really dropped in, get cozy, get comfy, be in a quiet place. And then when you're ready, you can start to shift your attention inward. You can have a soft gaze or close your eyes. And then just taking a breath in. One big expansive breath, breathing into your belly, your rib cage, your chest, and the front, and then in the back of your heart. Breathing up through your spine, into your neck and your mind. And then just an audible exhale. Just clearing anything that doesn't serve or support any busyness of your mind. Breathing in again, just beautifully expanding this breath into all the areas of your body that need more space. Need more connection with breath. Feel how good it feels. And then just release anything that doesn't serve or support, making more space inside. Once more, breathing in, expanding your breath. And then when you're ready, just releasing. Okay, so really opening your heart. And I'm just going to offer you these words and just notice how they land. I bring into manifestation the divine design of my life, health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. Breathing that in. And if there's any resistance, that's okay. Just be a witness to that resistance. Breathe in the slight possibilities of this statement. And then breathing out anything that isn't serving, supporting, making room for this statement. I'm going to offer it again and see how you receive it this time. Perhaps you're able to take it in a little bit more. Perhaps if you were able to take it in, it will deepen. So notice how your body responds. There's no right or wrong. I bring into manifestation the divine design of my life, health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. Breathing in. Just breathing through any resistance or anything that doesn't serve or support, dropping that, handing it to Mother Earth. letting her transmute any energy that doesn't resonate with this statement into positive energy. Clearing your palate, and once again, being open to receive this statement. I bring into manifestation the divine design of my life, health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. Breathing in. Just feel it going in, even if it's just a slight possibility. I'm going to activate this statement with light language. Mora kira kuratia na mora kuratia na kia mora kuratia. Mora kua menera kira kuratia na karatua manakia, bringing into manifestation the divine design of your life, health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. Mora kuratia na kia na kuratia na kia. Morokua menenenikia morokoratia morakia nanakaratua menenikia morokoratia. Beautiful. Breathing in, breathing out. Just hang out as long as you need. Thank you so much for tuning in, my loves. Thank you so much for being here, Jocelyn.
Thank you for having me, Roz. It was lovely.